nature and meaning of law. Let me begin by asking a simple question in order for you to understand the meaning of law. Have you been ever instructed, for example, when you are younger? Probably your parent will tell you that don't leave home, don't come home late, make sure you go to your class, write your note. Some of all those things are referred to as law. You must have been wondering, what is law? Where does it come from? And how does it affect our daily lives? So let me quickly give you a very simple definition. When we talk about law, law is a set of rules that govern our behavior and interactions with others. It is an essential part of our society. It helps us to maintain order. It helps us to protect rights and also to protect or probably to promote justice. So, in this class, we are going to explore the basics of law, including what we call the broader sense definition, the narrow sense definition. We are also going to look at the types, the importance of law. We'll also examine how law impacts our relationship, how it impacts the community and society as a whole. Now, there are three learning outcomes that you must focus on as we go on in this class. Number one, you should be able to define law and highlight at least 5 importance of law in our society. Not only that, you should be able to identify the types and division of law in a very simple mode. Please take note of this. This is a banking law. We are not law student major, so we only want to talk about some of the things that relate to our own field. So you need to also explain the role of law in shaping our relationships and the community where we belong. So, as we are progressing, I want you to making sure that you are giving your comment so that I'll be able to give you a heart, and then that shows that you are with me in this video. So let's dive into the class. Now let's start from definition of law. Just like I told you when I started, law is a set of rules that everyone in a country must follow. It's like a big rule book, just to say that you need to do this must not be done, this is what you should do. Just like how you have to follow the rules and regulations at home. While you are growing up, you have to follow the laws in the country. And if someone breaks a law, there are consequences, just like how you might get a time out if you break a rule at home. Now, but the good thing about law is that they help keep us safe and making sure that everyone is treated fairly. So it is like having a big team of referees, making sure everyone plays by the rules. I hope you understand that. Don't forget to make a comment as you are getting what we are trying to say. Let us understand that we are together. All right. So in a broader sense, or in a broad sense, law refers to any rule, principle, or standard that governs human behavior and is enforced by social, culture, religion, and so on and so forth. Now, you need to understand this aspect of what we are trying to say. Broadly speaking, when we talk about law, it affects our social norms. How do I mean? There are some unwritten rules that govern human behaviors in our society, such as the customs. They are rules, but they are unwritten. Not only that, there are some etiquette in different parts of the world that governs our social interaction with people. Also in religion, there are rules and principles that govern human behavior based on religious beliefs and teachings. Not only that, there is also what we call cultural norms, rules and standards that govern human behavior within a specific cultural context. You must understand that even within our internal or what we call domestic arrangement. So let us continue by looking at the narrow sense. In the narrow sense, law refers to specific the law refers specifically to statutory laws that are enacted by legislative body. When we say legislative body, we are referring to National Assembly or State Assembly. Such a parliament or Congress law enactment by a legislative body is referred to as statutory law. Then we also have what we call common law, laws that are developed through judicial decisions and precedents. Naturally, laws developed through judicial decisions and precedents are called common law. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You need to understand that any case that is being decided in a particular law court tends to bound on every other thing that happens as far as law judiciary is concerned. So we also have what we call administrative law, laws and regulations created by government or probably government agencies, administrative bodies, and such that when somebody is having problem in his company, probably with customers and so on, all these are regulations. What will happen to somebody who embezzles money? Why should it be taken up? All these kind of things are called administrative law. And then of course we have constitutional law, laws and principles that govern the structure and powers of government. Now we are just trying to look at some of all these in brief. So let's quickly also look at types of law. There are different types of law or divisions, but we just need to classify them into two. We have written law. This is also known as statutory law. This type of law is written and enacted by a legislative body, such as a parliament or Congress. Then we also have unwritten law, also known as, this law is also known as common law. That's what I've just told you earlier. This type of law is not written, but rather based on customs, based on traditions, and based on judicial decisions. But we can further divide law into different categories. But let me just mention few ones that are needed as far as we are concerned. We have public law, which include constitutional law, administrative law, criminal law. We also have private law, that has to do with contract law. We need to deal with this in the course of this course. It deals with agreements between individuals and organizations. It covers issues such as contract formation, performance, breach of contract. All these ones are referred to as contract law. Law that affect partnership, laws that affect business, laws that affect sales, and so on and so forth. These ones we are going to dive into it very much as we progress in the course of this study. Now we also, under private law, we have tort law that deals with civil wrongs, wrongs that are committed by individuals against one another, such as what we call defamation of character, and so on and so forth. So it also covers issues such as negligence, liability, and damages. Under private law, we also have property law. Deals with ownership and use of property, covers issues such as real estate, intellectual property, and personal property. Now we also have another type of law which is referred to as international law. Treaties. These are things that have to do with formal agreement between countries. It covers issues such as trade, security, and human rights that has to do with interrelationship between countries. Now we also have conventions under international law. There are informal agreements between countries such as diplomacy, commerce, and navigation. Under international law, we have customary international law, unwritten laws that arise from states' practice, and what we call opinion juris. So you need to familiarize yourself with the customary international law. Then from that, we'll move to what we call civil law. In civil law, we have family law that deals with relationship with families, covers issues such as marriage, divorce, child custody, and inheritance. Then under that, we have employment law that has to do with relationship between employers and employees. It covers issues such as contracts, wages, benefit, and workplace safety, and so on and so forth. Then there is one other aspect of civil law that we are also going to consider in the course of this study, which is business law. Business law deals with relationship between businesses and their stakeholders. It covers issues such as contract, mergers and acquisition, and corporate governance. Please, as you are following, you just have to comment so that I will know that you are following and then you are getting what I'm saying. Quite all right. Now let us look at another aspect of law, which is criminal law. This one has to do with crime. For example, you have felonies, you have misdemeanors, and so on and so forth. Now, we have been able to cover few of these divisions of law. We have spoken about public law, we have spoken about private law, we have spoken about civil law, we have spoken about criminal law, and so on and so forth. There are different kinds of them, of these divisions, that you can actually consider in the course of study. So let's look at the importance of law in the society. Now, one of the things that you need to understand is this. Number one, to maintain social order. Law helps maintain social order by providing framework for resolving disputes and promoting peaceful coexistence. Not only that, law protects individual rights and our freedom, such as freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to press, freedom to life, freedom to associate. Now, that's what, thank God for establishment of the law. A lot of things would have happened to us in the course of living our life. Another importance of law is that it promotes justice and fairness. You see, you need to agree with me that law promotes justice and fairness by providing a system for punishing wrongdoers and compensating victims. And that is why when someone is caught, even when you get somebody right-handed, the law still presumes that the person is an innocent until it proves otherwise. So it's just to make sure that we are not punishing the wrong person. Another importance of law is it regulates economic activity. Law regulates economic activity by providing rules for business, for commerce, for trade, and so on. Then another thing that law does is it deters crime by providing punishment for wrongdoing and promoting a sense of responsibility. Now, role of law in shaping relationship and communities. Law plays a significant role in shaping relationships and communities. Number one, it defines boundaries. Where there is law, it establishes clear boundaries and expectation for behavior. You need to know what you need to do, what you should not do. And then if you do otherwise, there is going to be a punishment or consequence for that. Another rule of law is that it protects our rights. Law protects individual rights and freedoms. It promotes equality and justice. Another thing that you also need to consider is regulating interaction. Law regulates interactions between individuals, organizations, and government. Law provides framework for resolving dispute, maintaining social cohesion, and then what we call stability. In other words, what we are trying to say is that law helps in providing dispute resolution. And number 5, before I leave that side, is that it promotes social norms. All right, we have been able to discuss very briefly what you need to know as far as law is concerned. So, in conclusion, just get it. Law is a set of rules that governs behavior, maintain order, and promote justice in society. I've told you that it includes broad categories like social norms, religious law, and international law, as well as narrow divisions like statutory, common, and constitutional law. Law is divided into public law, such as constitutional, administrative, and criminal, and private law also include contracts, tort, and property law, along with specialized areas like international, civil, and business law. So it is important that we all maintain social order such that individual rights is protected, justice is promoted, economic activities are regulated, and anyone who is found in crime is deterred. So through law, we have been able to define boundaries. It protects rights, regulating interactions, resolving disputes, and promoting social norms. So that is how far we can go in this presentation. I want to believe you enjoyed the class, you enjoyed the presentation. Please, if you find it interesting and useful, you can share it, put your comments so that I can also reach out to you. Thank you. See you in the next presentation.